Official. Like I'm not trying to kids. Yes, like a friend. You have to come in, haven't you? You were smart. Man, anybody else? Because last meeting. Oh, me watching it? Yeah. Because when Wayne was having answers to Polly, you could hear him real good because he was protecting his voice. After that discussion, where it was just the board numbers. Oh. And you're like closer to the, my dad would have did something. That's good. We're done. I know we're going to do it. Sure, even though we had a new roof on, he still came down and just wanted to get about it. Working for anything. No, yeah, I actually, spoke to Cameron Green last week. And got some questions, competitive questions about the minutes and the honest stuff. And he said, no, he can, he loved it. Yeah, it's the insurance company, it's making the decision for him. They're not having, unless he changes carrier or something. And that's not even, that's interesting. I bought some donuts for the guys. We got some good technical information. Well, very much. I bet they want to do it. You want me to square in front of people? I did the last time. Um, I don't know where it starts and finishes, but I'm going to start. So we've been working well with them to pick up, provide us equipment for a second channel. So we put the other 15 channel VDR on 733. Everything was run through on 732. And then 3 weeks ago, unbeknownst to the people, especially I'm talking to about these long tuners that inject signal on channel 732, 733, they did a major upgrade on the deep cell spectrums. We were down to like 3 hours, early morning, but they did this big upgrade. They're getting ready for some other big things coming down. So what it is, I don't know, but we're going to try some other things. So but when we did this big upgrade,
Am I gonna be able to get through here?
yeah,
Alright. Thank you.
so they did this big upgrade. And obviously they knew, but not a lot of people knew, that it was going to upset the apple cart of all of these condos like us that have 732 and 733 to do local programming. We do control DVRs, other condos do other stuff. Local board things, but all these places up and down the beach have their own 732, 733. You play the contract that they provide for all these condos and hotels, switching to going. So they're all better doing it. They're all upset, just like we're upset. So it will come back. It'll be a channel up in the 1,000 is where we at. But you try to get someone to say, well, when is this going to be up and running? Because we've been down 3, going on 4 weeks. We don't know. What the? You don't know. And I've read off a couple of emails and I put in them. I said, we have a property that's predominantly seniors. And part of 732 was providing images from a gate that owners can let people decide not to. And they don't have that anymore. I said, it's very key to our security for our owners to see who's at the gate before they press the button. And then so this means this is a high priority act to get going. But things that come here from Joanne.
What's that?
We're talking about 732.
Oh, boy.
We sent an email off to Ray this morning about it, complaining.
Did you get anything back?
No, not yet. Last I looked at it, it's 3 o'clock. Didn't see anything.
I was gonna ask if there were any ideas for, what we could do if it involves that.
I think we need to group everybody together because we're not the only, all condos that utilize that channel. Some use it for DVRs, some bulletin boards, that type of thing. That we ought to get together and get the names together and all this. You know, some official or you want some train station or anything. But they together. Next one. Then the two of us have been missing. to get it.
We've been working on it since May.
There we go, yeah. And then they pull this stuff by pulling it off the air first. And that's just, so it sets us back for example, 32. You want to talk about that tonight? You want to do that tonight?
Well, you can talk about it. I just wanted to ask if there were other ideas, something that we could do without spectrum.
Because it's their network, we can't push anything.
No.
This is their one thing. Can you do something? You make the paper again.
Or is this the same article that was online?
I think it's different. I think it's, I don't know, it could be. I didn't see the original article. But actually I did, I've read it online, it's different. When you look at it online.
I think this is the same thing, because that's a news journal online.
Debbie brought that in. County board.
Let's see what happens when it doesn't happen.
I saw a guy waiting for a bus today, leaving building. You know, they're probably leaving her building. That's all. If you would stand here. Just this truck came through here. Thank God nobody was there, so you might wanna go to the sign. And I said, oh, thanks, God. Saw the two buses. Well, that must have been a big truck, so you were not wrong.
Yeah. When they had it on this channel 10 news, I sent them that video and they used it, but they did have like a 2-second blurb. It's so fast I didn't realize what it was about until later, but it was a truck with half of the tires over the wall.
Of all the world travelers.
World travelers.
I don't think we can see.
Oh, yeah.
Newspaper, I don't know if you're right now.
Oh,
They're probably,
they
they're probably an Orlando paper person.
I saw this online.
Oh, you did?
I didn't see you. Did they just quote you or were you in the picture?
No,
Oh, okay.
they just quoted it. Because I said that, I said, we live here and we vote here and we think somebody's gonna die.
That's a mouthful.
How did you get to the point on it? No, you just beat around the bush.
Are they gonna stick up to the zigzag parts? Gonna, modify it and gentle it. And then, you sent Pamela. And,
I sent out.
well, you gave her my phone number, so she.
Oh, from the, yeah.
So, I stood out in front and talked to her for a while, and, so they had, an article, or, a section, yeah.
That's why I asked you, because I saw the news article that they did on the Wedge, but I didn't see you in the picture.
Oh, yeah,
They talked about it
I was in there,
on TV.
yeah. With like the standard old lady that they always talk to, or, the grizzled old men or the wrinkled old women. There it was.
But best looking of all.
It was kind of,
That's what, right? It's got one of them.
make some more noise, maybe something happens. They're drawing board with it.
They're considering a cutout over here where there used to be, you might be returning for the influence, but in front of the woods.
They're not there yet.
I don't know if they're gonna end up with a cutout there or not, they may settle for the lights and the walks, or I hope not, though.
So their whole plan is they're gonna take out all the concrete work and those bump outs. They're going to restore pavement because they took out all the pavement. Where they did the bump out. And they took out the base and put in dirt. So they gotta actually put down all new roadway for the bump outs. And then they're gonna paint lines. On the pavement.
Is this being paid for through the state or is this coming out of?
This is state money, I'm sure there's some federal money.
What I was concerned, not county money, but the county, whatever the county.
There's probably a small amount, probably 10%. Normally it's the state and federal. It's right, most of it.
We supposed to get somebody else on the line, John,
John's here, yeah, he's coming down. I saw Scott, but I did not see him to ask him. But John, I saw John 15 minutes ago. Wow.
Are you just listening to what, there's not too much.
I know. Listening to wasn't real,
I put it in the elevators 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So we were gonna have a meeting. We're gonna get official notification on Monday. That it's 4 o'clock, they will. Everybody's gonna contact.
Does their name go away after they hang up? I don't know how it works, and we haven't had too many names of Zoom attendees. I thought, just try.
Joyce Knoll is on. Joyce is in the north building. I just see Joyce.
How do you spell her last name?
N-A-L-L.
I like together and have all the blank and things, if you possibly do that to me. Did you hear that from him, that he wanted to do that tonight?
Nobody had offered that. Throw it out. Where's everybody at? What are you doing? I don't know. I saw it. 3 o'clock. I called her. What did you do? I said, I'm going to be tired, but. Okay, and. It's only the. You can turn those on, Ally? Thanks. Thank you. Thanks for setting things up today, Alan. Video was the mastermind and.
Next time, we put out a couple of chairs. John, it's Wayne calling, and this phone, you know, 6 o'clock board meeting, call and see if there's anything or if there's soon. More, meeting place, yes. Here, it's like, you can't do business.
Can't vote on anything.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, you can vote it.
So you want to become one of these, I can start writing, get some of those mannequins that sit over here? Yeah, he's gonna call me.
All right,
We got everything except for, the moment.
okay.
No, please come. He's here. He's in the. We called the order at 6:07.
Okay, call to order at 6:07. You have notice in the, uh, agenda. So you can't vote on the previous, minutes. Let me read the vision statement. Our vision is to cultivate an environment where every homeowner feels a sense of pride in their residence, fostering a neighborhood where people know each other, support one another, and participate in community. To provide management and directors that ensure our residents have questions and concerns acted upon in a timely manner, and managing upkeep and safety issues that increase property values, with every member working together for the good of the entire community.
Thank you. We're going to the chili.
Yeah, go ahead. No, we
We're not
can't.
doing any business, we're just discussing all the, no votes are gonna be taken. Okay.
The chillers and the condition of the land and. The rust proofing and maintaining. I finally was able to get Alan Green to come down to the property board. And, we wanted to take a harder look at them to decide, would it be better in some areas to replace the metal with new metal, with new panel, than to try to, bring it back to life by scraping it, sanding it, prepping it, with, materials, and then hanging them. And he pointed out today that, he said, Mark, it's probably gonna be better to have them replace some key panels that are there. It's not a lot, but there are some key panels that would be better to get them replaced than to, for us to spend hours working on it. Yep. So I reached out to Leanne today and I sent them pictures. And he will come over from Orlando and take a close look at them and see what things does. The framing that they all start on, all three chillers set on, is in very good shape. They're I-beams, actually up there. They are supporting the posts that come through the roof, go down to the concrete in the shops underneath them. He said, oh, they're really. We have is the panels, their access panels to sort of part of the electrical and for the event stuff. So, with that in mind, that's the reason why we do this. The other reason is that the question didn't cross my mind. He said, do we have to turn off the chillers to do some of this work? So I did phrase that to Alan Green, and he came down and looked at it. He said, Mark, it would make great sense not to do it now, but we do need to turn them off for when we're standing, when we're scraping, when we're doing that prep work, because you don't want that to get adjusted into the intake to I'm trying to think of the name, but it's got the name for those things are, but it's kind of like an air handler in reverse. Where the air handler is pulling heat out, the venting that we see in those coils on the roof are actually dispersing heat outside. So, yeah. That's where the freon is in those lines to go to chillers to remove the heat from the unit. Air handler soaks up the heat, and then the heat is expelled at the chiller. So, as I sent an email out to the board this afternoon, I said, I really think we can table this. I will get on the RAMs for these panel access, and I really don't think we want to touch this until we get out of the heating season in October, November, December timeframe. Spend a lot of time in the sun, it's still idle.
I don't know if we wanna wait till December or not, because then we'll need them again before we have
That's
it
true.
done.
That's true.
But, I don't know, it usually cools off during the first week or at least the second week in October. So, after that, it's great to have the doors open anyway. But, I don't think we want the AC off right now.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. October sounds a good target to get whatever materials on site and let Brand do their work, and then we can let time do.
Okay.
I have a question regarding the children. What is the prognosis for the long-term survival of these things? I mean, with the AC going down, you've got to make it past 3 to 8 and then coming back out. Are we dealing with machinery that's on its last leg? I don't have an understanding.
That's a very good question, and I'll be quite honest, I'm not prepared to answer it. I need to take a close look at the study.
How old is the equipment, the chillers?
The ones in the south are a lot newer. They look to be much more than 10 and 12 years old. A lot of the equipment that shows the west building and the north building look fairly original. A lot of it is fairly original. It could be, there may have been some major upgrade.
They were replaced just before we get the garage roofs.
The north end,
And that's one, because I was sitting there watching the rolling guy taking them down and then hoisting them off and putting a new beams in, supports and things in and putting the new thing, putting the chillers in. And agreed with what we were looking at for a few days to do it all. And that was 5 or 6 years ago. It was just before they did the roofs. The next company that did the roof.
just to the garage.
Yeah.
I will talk to the Cameron Green. It's a much newer unit that's over in
The south north line here. Because shortly after they put that in, was it Judy Kirk was president, and he went ahead and approved Breeze to start work on that. It takes some months to build the units. And just about the time they got it done, it cracked out big time. They were able to spend a couple of days putting it over, and that was like a year after we did it. So
technical background on Freon and what revisions have been made in the north and the west, so he's been really nice about that. I'll reach out to him too about that.
Now, are we talking about just the roof component of the cooling, or are we talking about the machinery in the building?
The chillers on the roof look newer in the north and west than what's in the main shop, which is the compressor. The compressor seem to look older than what the chillers are.
Do we know how old?
I don't, and I will dig into that. I will dig into
The
that.
compressors that really count. The upstairs top is just water cooking out.
It's actually Freon hot water. But that's the very same principle that they just use the compressors of Freon in those chilling units to dissipate the heat.
They just need to look at the compressors.
They put in the filters to the system, so if Sam was getting into the shippers. Up on the roof.
You're correct about that. Your statement about they put in what they call socks,
Yeah.
and that was done prior to me being here, but they're big filters. It's like,
They've been within the last probably 8 or 10 years.
and we routinely change them out every 3 months.
Yeah.
Because
every time they did that, they went through the pumps and through there, and there was some service that was on.
And then the west and the north are located on top of the north line. So we change up those socks every 2 months.
All right, so you have some answers about that by next month?
Yes, absolutely. We'll do
That'll be
that.
September, we'll wanna get them ready to get going next month.
While we're on the
Spectrum.
you know where you're going in there?
312.
You know, regular executive brief. Speaking of chillers, obviously, well, I shouldn't say obviously. The troubles that we had last time was because of we lost service from FPL for, I guess it was around a minute, may have been a little bit longer. and all three chillers tripped offline. This was kind of late in the afternoon. All brands that came out, the night crew. Um, the south one started up a whole lot easier than the north was. Um, the north they were able to get online in about 3 hours or so. The west one came up in about 4 hours. But it was just the timing, and there's a lot of safeties on the equipment that when it exceeds irregular pressures or temperatures or volume of water passing, temperature of the water coming in versus going out, a lot of things have to match up with the state running. It just took a long time for them to get going. They're learning more and more about these chillers. I mean, let's face it, Green's had a master's degree in air conditioners. Brand picked up the pace as quickly as they can. So that was all triggered by a power interruption, and it just took time to get everything back on. Currently, ever since that happened and we got into the busy summer, I check the water temperatures each morning when I come in. And normally the outdoor temperature that we're setting for the units is 50 degrees or less. It bounces between like 47 and 50 degrees. Starting on Tuesday morning, yesterday, I saw that the north chillers were coming up to 56 degrees. So I sent an email off to the brand, sent it to their main guy over in Orlando, and looking at it, and he said, yeah, we need to take a look at it. So they came out same day, Tuesday, and they diagnosed that the north, there are two compressors. There's an A and a B compressor. Most of the time, it just runs on one compressor. It handles the building fine. It's just like the south. There's two compressors, and generally just one carries the building fine. But when we get into days like we've been having in the afternoons, both compressors will come on. The second compressor was not coming on in the building. They had some safety device that failed and broke, and Freon leaked out of it. So the A compressor on the 3Bs was not coming in. That was the problem. Today they were able to put on a new part and backing the system down. They're in the process right now, putting Freon in it, and that unit should be both the A and the B should be operational. You should be finishing up anytime. You've been here since early afternoon.
Yeah, he was still there when I came.
Was he?
Yeah.
So that was the reason why this temperature dip. So that will help the temperature get down into the 50s, and the units, our unit owners should feel a difference in their air temperature. That 6 degrees is significant. That makes a difference. So that's where we're at there. I'm going to continue with the agenda or whenever. I didn't actually list the report, but I do have another one to Joanne.
I'm sorry.
400. Yeah.
All right, we have, that's where we start. Thank you. Everybody,
We're
would
gonna
anybody
do-
like to approve the previous?
I move that we accept the minutes of the previous meeting.
Thank you.
Wayne, with the motion. And second.
And the meeting, the minutes are approved as read. Or, yeah, read.
Correct.
With no corrections.
3-0. Thank you.
I had a couple of things I wanted to kind of mention that weren't on the agenda, but we can wait for those. The first old business is a new board member, and to decide who's going to be secretary treasurer. So I've talked to I think 4 people without any luck. Do you guys have any suggestions?
I know two, thinking about it.
Well, that's. So I guess we don't. Yes, we do, but okay. Um. Do we have a volunteer to be secretary treasurer? All right, so no volunteers for secretary treasurer, that means still get to do the minutes.
Oh, thank you. I really like how the Zoom meeting records everything. And it makes it easy to come back and do it.
It uses the AI feature there probably.
Oh, hell no, no, no.
If you do the AI, I think you're fixing minutes out there.
And you know, it looks really good. I'm surprised how accurate it gets. And I do look at it.
No, it's more.
Oh, that's true. But you're right, it does generate a printed. um,
Transfer.
Thank you, that was the word, transcript of the meetings. I do use it, I just don't. Do it, I mean, I don't, it's done, no, I don't. But it's pretty good. So I have no trouble doing that.
Okay, the next item of old business is, the proposal for the laser study on walkway. And you sent out a quote on that was $780.
Yes, it's attached to the packet, it's, the, third and second page from the back. From WSC, the 780.
Point of the laser study was to look for concrete issues that are underneath the surface, so you can't see them and know that they're there. I think it's a good idea to go ahead and do it. But, does anybody have any questions or discussion?
Hey, this is the single capital of the world, it can't hurt.
Where walkways 1 through 6,
I'm sorry?
it says it would be done in walkways 1 through 6, where I think in relation to anything.
They're all the way around the building on the outside where your front door is.
It's the whole horseshoe of the units. Starting at the O1 units, going all the way to the west elevator here, and then coming all the way from the north elevator down to the floors 1 through 6. Up on 7, there really isn't any walkways. There's 2 units on 7 in the north, 3 in the west, and 2 in the south. And then the 8th floor is just Bobby's unit. 9th floor is 9th. So we're just doing 136.
So it's all right. 1 to 6.
We don't care about those on the 8th floor and the 9th floor, so we're just gonna do 1 through 6.
If you want to know what else up there.
Very good.
All right, so tell me, in doing this, we've had some issues with popping or crunching or
Sure,
areas.
got 2 specific kind of issues.
Yeah.
One is what we can easily visually see,
Right.
and that's about 25% of what Alan Green found. He had that technique with a pole, a chain, and a ball at the end of it, and just kind of whipped it back and forth. And it's just like you're walking on your tile, the tile that's loose, or the adhesive's messed up on it, and it sounds different. and we can tell that something's going on. And that's what he detailed on his report, on any time he was hearing that it sounded off, which means most likely it's a hollow place that's there. He says it's very accurate. He said there are stuff sometimes we miss, but, the other company that was starting to quote us for doing concrete work, other than Alan said that they were gonna see this report first. But they moved on to this company that did the laser job trade. It's at $65 an hour, and they figured $12, so it came up $700. So we get a full report. There are some options to it. If the report indicated there was something major or something structural that we're not seeing, they could refer it to a PE, their professional engineer, for $100. He said if we came across that, we would follow up with you. That's likely to do that. But right now, we're just looking at the survey work, and that's the 700.
Because I'm not familiar with this thing done, but I know there's some walkways around where it was broken or we had rebar starting to.
There, of the visuals,
Right, they haven't been fixed, or they have.
they have not.
Okay, so that's all. Those things.
Yeah, they're gonna plot those two, but part of it, I don't wanna get ahead of ourselves, but maybe just a little bit. I mean, we know it will be fairly significant, but it's not something we have to do all this year, all next year. We can float it out over years. What our thoughts were that we would take care of the visual stuff first, which represents about, like I said, 20 or 25% of the total that we're looking at. We would do that first, and maybe do that this year, it'd be nice to do it this year, and then we plug it in for next year for 26 and 27.
You said 25%, so theoretically, there's 75% of it we can't see, so we don't.
That's on his report, with his wall and chain, the number of points in that roughly represents 78%, can't see 24%.
And I think it's gonna be higher. I know that's accurate, like when you're drilling something, you hear when it's gonna break through the changes.
Yep.
Same thing, I'm sure it didn't get it off, but I'm gonna think the high, the memory is high.
It certainly could be, and that's what's nice about spending the $780. We'll definitively know what we got.
I'm just wondering, if all those hollow, what is the stuff that was in the road? Or is it always been hollow since it was?
No, I don't think when they poured it, it was hollow. What, a lot,
When the water drips through there, does it wash it away, bit like this? Does the water drip through there?
I just think the corrosion.
Yes.
Ocean,
rebar. And once you're getting to the rebar, and you're rusting and expanding, and kind of compresses things. And then there's there are really two layers. There's the concrete that was poured, and then they had a surface on top of it that smoothed it out, gave it some texture, and I think a lot of that could be just that, but it could be worse. And that's what this laser and radar study will
We have any idea of all what sort of next year if we're talking about financially. And there's, I mean, you said, this is how much it's going to cost the community of the 25%. Do you know that yet?
Alan wanted to just do he'll do the whole job. Okay. He was saying on the visual stuff, about 70,000. He said, I'm purposely going to be high, because we just don't know for sure. It's just like the steps, and you really don't know what you got until you get it. And we did find other issues that when we did the south and the north stairwells that were definitely had other issues. We were meant to be electrical, because the electrical issues were twice as much as what we thought. and redoing the exit ramps and making connections and wiring stuff. It's just, there's so much, whenever you're doing concrete work, it is so difficult to estimate it. And they leave themselves out for that, because you just don't know. Since we've got such an old building, and it's a strong one, but I really don't think, me looking back, what I've seen, there hasn't been any major concrete work done in this building since it was built, that I can tell. Now, some people who have been here longer, and like 40 or 10 years, can help with that, but there doesn't seem to be any major concrete work that's happened here. This building is 51 years old.
Yeah,
But they do that, it doesn't really look that, and money, just the money.
Yeah, but that, all it is a report. It's all, it becomes,
If we have no,
yeah,
We'll have a better idea of what financial, issue before they have, once the study is complete.
Yeah.
Where it's spending that, I think that they have an idea of what the final cost, and then we can determine how to approach it.
Yeah. KDK is the other, concrete restoration company. They put us on to this company to do the laser radar work. Alan is familiar with the company. This study becomes ours. We do with it what we want. There's not, there won't be property, KDK won't be property on. It'll be our study that we choose to do with it.
well, I'll make the motion that we, go ahead and, get the laser study done. Moved and seconded.
I'm sorry.
All in favor
Thank you.
is unanimous. You're gonna sit here nodding our heads for 5 minutes.
Okay. So,
Don't forget.
so Joanne made the motion
Okay, don't worry.
and Jim seconded. We will go this through.
It needs to be-
Okay.
Okay. I wanted, while we're still on old business, Mark, you and I have been talking about getting Mitch out here to fix the gutters. There were at least 4 places where the gutters, need to be repaired. Is there any progress on getting him out here?
I talked to him a week ago Monday, when he said he was gonna be out last week. He was on that call list.
Okay, thank you. And, John, you were attempting to get some proof of liability insurance,
and you like to expect that. I mean,
the one dentist, nothing from anybody else,
I know it's like 3 times,
no response.
how many times I should call without being,
So that was Chamberlain,
uh,
120,
the first one.
First one?
I got after the one.
that's Chamberlain, okay.
But nothing from any,
And the others. No
I'm
response. I
sure
called
the
them.
others. I'm not sure.
The
that
other
it's
dentist, and
even open, is he still doing that?
He is not, he is closed. He has actually relocated some of his equipment to a place that he's a pastor at, that he's doing demo work in church.
I've emailed him and called him, as Mark knows, they did in front of him, it's like a steakhouse, seafood restaurant, that the emails go to and phone calls. And
And
there's no response. And this name, the other 2 I call, I would get hung up on, or I would just leave a message and I never get it.
Well, let me jump in, because I want to go through Carol Bigelow and Glenn Bigelow. If you're getting hangups,
They might be in a meeting, and I never realize.
yeah,
and,
but you know,
Leave
you
a
left
message.
messages.
and I don't think just being closed gets them off the hook.
Okay,
No. No.
Even when that's a reform operation.
So, we have that worker.
Not for, operation, very. This is what I told you, Joe. And it's not an expensive thing, you know, what I mean, it's cheaper than it's probably cheaper than your hundreds of dollars for the perspective, so.
I think John and I will put our heads together.
I'm sure they have it, but if somewhere you go, maybe
Just get a copy of the deck sheet.
Yeah, just to get, just to decorate, absolutely. We'll get together on that. Come on,
I mean, we call together.
Yeah, think that'd be good.
I mean, we did already.
Yeah,
And we stopped.
and then you can tell them how to show that. Yeah. You can hang up.
The only one that was covered by my wife, but we should have been my wife, that's talking to me about it.
Okay, well, thank you both for that. Now, on to new business. We have a proposal for, putting latching handles on the doors on all the elevator lobbies.
And let me, I did not put it in the packet, I just realized. And, just grab it.
Okay,
You have an example of the actual one.
and then on the door, they,
It's right here, right here. That's, you guys just hope you know. Yeah.
turn.
So. And no, I don't know why this one.
Ground floor, basic courtyard have it, and that was stuff I wanted to talk about tonight too. We're gonna have it put on all the glass doors on the elevator lobbies. I think we need it on the ground floor also.
I think. Yeah. I read from one, you know, staying at that a couple of years ago, or a few years ago. On the second floor or third floor. What, it blew open and all struck ready to walk, so. Right. I guess pressure to it, you know, there's. Kind of pressure from there. Yes.
That's a,
Well,
that's a good point.
In fact. I kind of remember when you said that.
I thought this was a tour, about 3 years ago. When we had, I had a location. On my floor, where I 619, there's only one way out. Unless you jump over. And the door is going out. It's bent. And it's twisted. We couldn't get out, yeah, we couldn't get out. So, actually, right next door, we bent it back up when we were able to get out.
We crawled, we got it tilted, so we could crawl under it.
And the door in the north, west part where we're at, it blew open. On the east side. It became, the door. Everything's open again. So
One end of it is breached, it'll necessarily, it will affect the other end.
So, but if you go through the floors and look around, the doors don't have nothing.
Gotcha.
And I don't know why, but they still have, like you said, in the lines, the bubble. And he's got signs on the door. It says permanent pull, permanent pull. I'm not seeing on red, but yeah. What's the use? It's a line. And you can't have it.
And we're not talking about locking, we're just talking about
Just
I mean, I will admit it's a pain when you have a bunch of groceries. Instead of just pushing your door and walking through, you gotta turn the latch first, but.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we have it, so I actually like the idea.
So it's already in the north building, now the proposal is to put it in the south building
And the west.
and the third building.
At this proposal, step for the down, we're gonna be back for the truth.
Oh.
And I'll explain in a minute.
It's just for the staff. What's that? The rest. That's out. And there's now.
The ocean is always east.
So to put it in, you just gotta double this to do it for the north.
I think we could infer that, yeah. There's a thing.
And while you were gone, we were talking about latches for the courtyard, ground floor doors also. So that, even though, you know, the majority of the wind comes from the outside, the pressure, oh, I'm sorry,
You're fine, hold
the pressure changes. So it's a, we just don't need, we could spend $2,000 fixing the door. We have, or
on. This thing of latches started after, not the last two hurricanes, but the two hurricanes previously, when we lost, doors in the North Building. We couldn't lock them because here again, we're an occupied building, we did not evacuate. And, we have to allow egress, so we couldn't lock them down. So the latches was the idea that came up after those storms, two sets of storms ago. The next set of storms came and they performed beautifully, did not have any losses to doors before. What we did start to encounter was in the south building on the sixth floor and then the fifth floor. When the winds changed directions in the storms, which storms went past, we were having the air kind of sucked out of the lobby zone. And the doors on the east side of the south lobby opening up and slamming. We were fortunate enough to have Sarah, the heard banging and went up there and ended up tying those doors closed during the last hurricane we came kind of back to back. So that's why the discussion here at the moment to look at latching the doors on the south. But your argument on the west is just as sound as it is on the what we did for the north or the south building. So you don't know. I think there's a greater concern on the south than what we saw in the last storms, but I'm sure there's a concern on the west also.
For the replacement install, it's that's basically the usually built up to be replicated. They have to drill holes through the frame itself.
Absolutely, yeah.
Stay close to the door, they're gonna have to. The interior, on the inside of the lid of the door, they're gonna have to. Otherwise, until
There's a template that they bolt to the door.
Okay.
And they bolt to the jam, so. One thing out of the door and of
and we don't need any locking,
Right.
but the latch. I really don't see any reason to not have latches on all the glass doors.
And what I say, like, since you said that, I move that the program. I move that we accept this proposal and we also provide the same copy on the west building.
it's identical. I'll contact them tomorrow and tell them they need the exact same. The rest of them,
Unless they give us a discount for twice as many.
Well, I will push that. I will push that.
Other discussion?
How soon would this be? On the,
Parts are probably about 2 weeks, and install could be within 4 weeks.
So if we were to do that and they were to give us a 10% discount on the deal, that would cover the expense of revenue study that we replaced.
Sure would.
More than that, right? So push for it, push for that.
I'm gonna talk to my 2 guys over there. Estimate this, dispatching people.
Very good.
Yeah, it's very good idea,
Make a motion.
very good.
Second. All in favor, aye. Unanimous.
That
And
motion includes you asking for 10% discount.
absolutely, gotcha. I'm sorry, who made the motion was,
I think.
Joanne was the second,
Yeah.
so it carries 3-0.
Right. And then the next item of new business on our agenda was any volunteers for a committee to beautify the courtyard. The new mulch out there is great. Yeah.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank Oliver for getting too much mulch for me in my house.
So
That's what sparked it on.
I don't know how much we want to think about doing, but you know, some big pots with some color in them. Would look nice.
I know there's 3 on the street right here with the rooms on it.
Yeah.
Year round. Yeah. But yes.
So pink. Hibiscus.
Is that what it is? I don't.
It's gigantic. It might be 10 or 15 years old.
Are you just moving to have a committee form?
Yes. Are there any volunteers to be on a committee for that?
Can have some man.
I'm looking at you.
Okay, lady.
I'm looking at your plan there.
Yeah.
Where's the multi?
I just put it.
The shrubs.
I suggest you put something up in the elevator.
It's been like.
Well, I was thinking of the color, the flower, but lighting is a wonderful idea.
So like across the street at the towers where they have their trees and.
I would not see that. I would not see the light all over the country, that explained for me, but I was told that I need to. I think many people were complaining about the light, that's right. The lights are right there, I mean, the palm trees right here, that's gonna affect that.
On the first 2 months,
But I don't know, see that, if they had it over there, I think it's pretty cool, but anyway, that's what I was told that, because, not into the, but it.
I think the underground wire is.
Something.
the underground wire is the reason.
They just keep complaining about the lighting in the. I don't know, but I would like to see that.
When we were,
I think I'm just one time more, because when you left on a pretty. Awesome. Never heard you.
We not have access to electricity.
when we redid the block that's around the pool.
Yeah.
In that, we discovered a lot of the old wiring that was there, and we went through the expense of where we saw issues, we put junction boxes, weatherproof junction boxes at the 4 corners. And we're trying to construct how they wired it and where the wires came out of the pump house, so we discovered the mapping on it, that it comes out of the south side of the pump house, runs along the south side where the rock is. There's three wires, three hot wires into the ground. When you make the corner at the east end, or let's call it the southeast end, the one wire drops, there's use lights on the south side. The second wire, you pick up the lights on the east, and then the third wire runs around the rest of the way. And from the north side, ends in the corner of the northwest corner. So there's pipe and there's wire. And, there are some things we can do with it. We mark everything, doing it wrong.
All of these little lanterns around the pool, they're all solar.
Yeah.
Okay. You have conduit that goes around.
There is conduit, wire in it. It was kind of abandoned. I don't know why. I just didn't, last thing I want to do is rip it out.
I think it's a great idea to put together a beautification commission with regards to lighting plans and then just bring a proposal to the board. You know, reasonable expense.
Is it solar?
Land out there.
No, there's electric out there.
There is electricity.
I mean, so,
Yes, because in Atlantic City, forever, because there was a lot of fence, bubbles, all the good things. So I preached for quite a few years to pump up the lights because, but they wouldn't do it because it costs more money. So finally, they listened to me, they pumped up the lights. They put one light in the boardwalk, and I'd say about 34% less crime because those cameras being up. I was told this by the police and everything else. And it doesn't do what everybody thinks they do. But if you light it up, please, don't do it. This is because people come my blood. And then you lessen the crime by 2 or 3%. When I say that, I used to be, I was city administrator for 2 cities. One of the city was better, so I had a lot of experience with that. I didn't have a biker, but a lot of them were pretty bad. A lot of mischievous and everything, we got that. But in case it's a lot of old people here, like, hey, you can't find where you were. And, you know, everywhere you threaten. Well, I don't think I ever had that, but
It takes this inside the courtroom. Not walking down the outside of the wall or any other house. In here. You should know it.
Looks pretty, mundane out there, that's you can do.
More trees or, you know, something.
I would put a note in the elevator that the people who would like to volunteer to be on the beautification committee and give them your job, Mark's number. And just see what they, you know, if you were to get,
Put my number, I'll be in charge of that.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Maybe I'm in charge of the committee, I'll take the calls. I can't even dress myself in the right color, you don't want my hair up there. Yes.
So, who's here when the lights were on the screen? Who's here?
Conduit and everything. So we had lights,
yeah, they have different color lights.
there was red, yellow, green, they're great.
Blue lights and then flying, or it's cool, but on the outside too, it's cool.
Is it Mark?
They have water in the Johnson box, so I'm short of that. The whole of the one, and then we had a training manager before Mark. She was kind of flaky, she put in all these solar things that don't work on the net.
I mean, would it cost a lot of money to do it?
That's what we're doing.
Once you sketch out something and what you want, goal you want.
I would like to see that, that's me, because I always say that's development.
You want to be president of the committee?
I don't know how to see the word.
Well,
You're taking the ideas from.
You have to remember. Now you will like the way I understand it, you're just on the committee of public ideas.
People the idea. What you have to do is take Tammy anywhere and you will get invited and see that there's people there.
We're starting to run on now, so, I'll get some, notices put up in the elevators, maybe we can get some names and some phone calls and see where we can go with this.
If they can call me, that's fine.
And anybody who you have email for, you can probably do an email blast, asking for all of these.
That is a great idea. All right, and we're not on the demonstration tonight, so we'll, continue that. Okay,
I'll just throw a couple.
I think I still remember them.
yeah, a separate thing. That way.
Because I know Delma really wants to. I can't be here.
Okay, so,
Mr. Sarkis.
No, I've just been doing it for a while. Now,
sorry.
the river would know, right? It looks good, right?
Take his advice and get some device.
Take a call.
I'm just going to 5 minutes call. Just a couple things to go over since, last time we met, the things, many of you. Work in progress. Joanne's been in the paper, she's been on channel 2. She may have her own website here soon, who knows?
Better noise.
But it seems like the more noise you make, the better it kind of helps our case to what we're doing at DOT. We know that the Steve's diner, Chris, who owns the store, was able to get some changes made in the medium just for him. That was with the work of Channel 2 and complaining with that DOT, which is what we do. The broken board for my AC that I've been down for 12 days finally arrived in town, and the package was on the mountain. Robin tripped and dropping the very streets of Jacksonville back and forth between Jacksonville and Atlanta 4 times. And it was hand on hand that I don't see, so my AC will be back in.
Great.
We talked about the AC we're working on in the North Building at the drawings and things. We completed our cold deck repairs and got things painted. The only thing left to paint is the top portion.
Yeah, that's great.
And yes, it does. It looks really good. I think we get wanted on that Thursday. The sidewalk at the portico we got fixed, and then of course the very last day, someone stepped in it, went around the cones to step in it, and we're going to get that fixed. We work on the portico ceiling. We had a small 4x4 section of concrete that was coming loose. As we got into it, a lot worse. And then we do electrical and 5 to 4 after the And I think that, all I got left to do is think. Today, you got the first check back on the refund of our policy, Tuesday. 35,000 that went into the bank today. We did get the, roof door on the south building replaced. I think we get good results. We're not seeing water anymore on 6 and 7. There was some water after the one rain, but not near what it was before. But it's been pretty dry. Pretty good. We got the elevator, vestibule door. In front of the school. Not 20. Basically, Spectrum made a huge mistake when they made a major upgrade to the network on the big side. They did the upgrade, all of the 732, 733 channels. Kind of annual use for community use, not just our building, but every building across the street, the towers, there's something down the beach. So not for example, we have the ability to see DVRs or bulletin boards or stuff. Complaining. This was totally screwed up our, let's put on that second DVR on channel 733, because now there is no channel 733. The new channel is supposed to be in the thousands whenever we get there. So we're gonna keep complaining about it. And try and see if we can form a group that we can in mass complain to Spectrum about all of our buildings not getting what we are contracted for.
I was wondering about like, you know how people have home cameras on an app? They can put that there in an app, your Ring doorbell, whatever. Well, if we have our own camera system here and an app and anybody can download it, you look at the cameras and record them. It's a personalized way.
Here's the, yes, it is, great idea, but here's the technical problem. The way we've been wired in this building, it's not like one Wi-Fi system that we all share. So like if we put cameras on, the single Wi-Fi network that covers the whole building, then everybody would have access. But the way the building is set up, we actually have 128 networks. Each unit has its own router, it has its own modem, it has its own username, its own password, and the only way to get on that network is with the correct username and password. So to have cameras and broadcast, if you will, to 128 networks is kind of a big deal.
But I think you could, just like if you have your home cameras, right, go over your network and home, or with your remote home, you're just looking. You can still log into that network and see those cameras, where if you put all the cameras on one network, and you have repeaters to get all the cameras on one network.
You'd have to have repeaters.
Yeah.
Wi-Fi, the signal's not gonna be strong enough, other than maybe 100 feet.
Right, so if you have a few repeaters around, which they're not expensive, right? And you had all the cameras on one network, you would just need one app for everybody to download and just the password to get into.
I was starting to look into it. My go-to guy for some 25 years passed away 2 weeks ago. I went to his funeral this afternoon. But his partner is very strong. I lost a good friend. He was just super knowledgeable at a topic like this is something. He knows what you need to do.
Very knowledgeable. I'm just thinking.
Okay, I like the way you think I was. It's good. So his company is his partner, Mark Kennedy, and his wife, are still running the business. Ernie and Mark were the two techs with them. I just happened to work with them for some 20 years in a hotel. But we will figure that out, see if there's something that we can do.
Yeah, that, I mean, we've been already on this since May. It could easily be the next May if we have to wait for Spectrum. I have no idea what you can do with that stuff, but it seems like there should be something.
I'm sure there is. These guys are smart. That's it. I'm done with comments.
I had. During the policy.
Well,
Hey, Joyce. Can you hear us?
my the point I was going to make was,
That's good.
I would like to make sure that we have copies, actual physical copies of all the insurance policies. And if you can't scan them in, or they can't give it to you in a PDF, give them to me, I will scan them in and give it.
I just sent out late today. The signed copies of the senior policies from Westchester and Bellair.
Yeah.
And the full policies were emailed to the board this afternoon.
Oh, okay.
That's all right. I understand. Did Joyce have a question?
I couldn't get it in there.
Couldn't talk to her? Yeah, for the second,
Thank you.
we'll start from Kinsale with the company in Kansas.
I move to adjourn.
Well, we need to, do we want to set a date for the next meeting? Is it too far ahead?
We don't have a lot going on. Let's see. The patient committee and he gets this other stuff.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can get this back door machine up and running.
Yeah. We'll get some
And the
things.
committee to get some.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's do it. You don't have to. It's like this. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, well, I don't wanna wait too long, but you know, maybe longer than 4 weeks.
Yeah.
All right, well, if
And
there's
in
nothing else,
between time, I'll do the lighting and configuration.
Okay.
I think it's just.
So then with that, now, I move to the adjourn.
second, moved. That, 7:12.
Wayne, vacation, Joanne's right now.
I said the meeting's over, and Zoom is going to keep people away and separate people more and more. Look at the meeting you have tonight. It's not for anyone thinking that in front of an audience of 2 people. It's very hard. I heard you about 100 people. And then Zoom, the only thing it does is keep people apart. Especially during an election. You want people to come together, maybe to have some kind of but that Zoom just doesn't do anything.
But we voted to have. This
I'm sorry, I want to come back there, we're taking it. Speaking of you, let's do it. One time, I stayed here for Charlie, for now.
How would we eat?
I got you dinner.
One after this.
That's Mark,
Smart also, yes.
All right, hit me back. Yeah, thank you guys. Good meeting.
You better go to the meeting.
Yeah, yes, yeah. Oh, we can move this here. The recording.
Yeah, all right.
I'll be right back.
There's a picture. Got a picture. You forgot your hair. I did see one.
Joyce, we're signing off, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Mhm. Thank you.
Uh-huh.